Greetings and welcome to Equity.Guru's Investor Roundtable. That's Chris Perry, who's waving in the far corner upstairs in the penthouse. He's a warrior. He's on injured reserve right now, but he's showing up for the game anyway. Vishal Vatura is right up above me, and here in the basement with me downstairs with all the mold and mildew is Galen.
That's me.
That's you. We're talking about Plurilock Security, Inc., but basically it's Plurilock. And on the site today, or often when you see this, you'll also see Jody Vance's interviewing the CEO, Ian Patterson. And you can also read about it on the Equity.Guru. PLUR, PLUR, is the symbol on the TSX Venture Exchange. Mr. Galen.
All right. I think the idea with Plurilock Security is that it is rather apropos for the time. It is a perfect fit for the world we live in right now with all these data breaches and people taking over networks and doing all sorts of nasty things to your digital information. Basically, what we've been left with is a rather antiquated method of protecting our information and our digital identities through passwords and multi-factor authentication, which usually turns out to be staring into a camera or putting your fingerprint on something or using your face as a recognition unit, several other things. But all of these items can be breached almost immediately. The facial recognition, someone takes a picture and puts that in front of the camera. You know, it's just immediately breached. And memorizing all of those passwords is a pain in the ass. Personally, I've got an actual program now that's a complete database, holds all of my passwords in it. But if I lose that program, I am fucked. So what we need is something that is absolutely secure.
How do you feel?
And yeah, well, I'll
just
sketch
do
it out.
a forgot password at Pornhub and you have half of it back.
Well, see, there you go. Exactly. If somebody discovers that, I'm screwed. Now, the thing is, what Plurilock provides is an alternative method that judges biometrics on not only the entry, but also during the session on 3 to 5 second basis and can notify of an irregularity within a minute. So if you didn't know it before, we type differently in terms of even pressure on the keyboard, but that's not something that they actually measure, but it's rhythm and speed of typing and what you access, where you're accessing it from. It's all incredibly unique. And the interesting thing about these data points is they're not stealable. Somebody can't take a photo of how you type and actually put it into the system. That doesn't work. So basically what happens without the addition of hardware or anything else like that, it's a cloud-based service, so you can really easily implement it into your system without using a robust IT team. You get all the technical support you need, and you have a Loctite situation guarding your doors on getting into your network and also the usage of your network, because a lot of hacks happen after the access as well, where people take themselves up to a root level access and start really messing with your network. So, they have 2 products, Adapt and Defend, as I described before, the entry method, which would be Adapt, and Defend, which is the constant surveillance and monitoring. Gives you the option of whether it automatically responds by cutting off the service or just alerts whoever's in IT to go, hey, you better take a look at this. And so everybody is kept abreast of what's going on, and we can really start to tackle these invasions. The company is going like gangbusters. I know that's a well-used phrase, but they really are rolling it out. And they're rolling it out to the most important customers. They're dealing with government agencies and with defense agencies. They've done contracts with the Air Force, with the Department of Defense, with the Department of the Interior. They've done it with high-level state agencies that need to have their data protected. And they just keep rolling out one contract after another. It seems to be like just every day something's coming down the pipe. They're also making some really tasty acquisitions. Just recently, further back, they made an acquisition of a company called Aurora, which is based out of California, which provides sort of a solutions for people that are wanting to put up networks, meaning they provide both the hardware and the software. And so they brought these guys into the fold. And what they managed to do by doing that is increasing the rate of contacts and business and sales. They've just amped up that department like nobody's business. And it's actually the moneymaker for them right now, even though the software is their basis. I see the software as becoming a very important factor in the other business. I see this company really becoming a bit of a juggernaut and becoming a one-stop shop for anybody who wants to set up a computer network on the business side. They're not doing really any business. They're focusing on business. It's commercial. They're not really focused and governmental. They're not really focusing on the individual user, but it doesn't mean it can't be. Because it's a cloud-based service, it can be very easily deployed. But getting these other guys on your side immediately, government contracts, they're hard as hell to get, but they're also hard as hell to lose as long as you do your job, right?
Establishes a good reputation.
It establishes a great reputation because with all their due diligence, they don't want their shit stolen. So basically, when you say that I've got the Department of the Interior or the Defense Department on my side, you're saying my product is second to none. So they're making all of these contracts. They've recently acquired another company in India, so they have a presence there. This also helps them not only in international distribution and sales, it also allows them an international support network. So if somebody goes down anywhere in the world, they'll typically have somebody up, ready to answer, ready to get to work. I like the company. I like the CEO, Ian L. Patterson. All of this grew out of a research facility in University of Victoria. It's top-notch technology, and the guys behind it really have a mandate and a belief in what they're doing.
Yeah, and he even threw his middle initial in there.
Woo. Didn't I really? There we
that
go.
Was something. Ian L. Patterson. Right now we're going to go to Chris Bartholomew Perry for his insight.
Thank you, Rob Gertrude Simpson. So this is a real easy one to talk about because most small cap companies in Canada, especially in the technology space, are all about we're going to lose a few $1 million and we're going to keep raising money and we're going to keep trying to find market share and we've got some influences or we've sold 6 things to Zellers. Plurilock is already doing its business. Its wheels are already turning. It's already built its technology. It's got its patents, and it's just a thing that exists now. The reason that it's not necessarily taking off stock-wise is because it's not a trade. It's an investment. If you want to protect your money and make sure that it's still going to be there next year, this is a good deal to be in. But it's not going to be something where one rainy Tuesday morning, they're going to put out a news release that says Plurilock does $300 million deal with Microsoft. It's just small deals with government institutions that grow over time and build into something that's better and better and better. When they do an acquisition, it's not a huge acquisition. It's a tactical acquisition to get themselves closer where they want to be, bring in more government contracts, bring in more technology, more sales. This is just a slow little build. It's been doing exactly what it said since we've started working with it. And I think it's been about 2 years now we've been working with this company. They just keep adding. There's no quarter where it's like, whoa, they really screwed the dog this time. It's just builds and builds and builds and builds. So for mine, the details are almost irrelevant right now because it's not going to double on one contract. It's certainly not going to halve on one bad contract. It's just going to build. This is an RSP deal. Now, that might not be what some people want to hear. They want to hear that it's going to have the big news catalyst that's going to double it in value. Man, I don't know what to tell you. A $24 million market cap for a company doing this much business with institutions that pay their bills and that rarely drop a company when they're working with them successfully. To me, it's just everything you want.
Yep. And you brought it up in the past too, because some of those deals are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're not like bazillion or million. They're, government contracts for $600,000. But like you've pointed out in the past, they'll renew that and renew it. Yeah. And it's annual.
Once you've convinced the government to put your software into processes, you never ever unplug that software unless it does something really stupid, right? So this is why comparables to this company are worth billions and not millions. The bigger it gets, the more that revenue stays forever. So every new contract is an addition. It's not a replacement. It's not churn. It's building out this company to be something that it has always told us it's going to be.
All right, and it's a long-term deal, of course. And Michelle is the chart attack man, and tell us what the heck it's been doing.
Just before I talk about the charts, I just wanted to add two things there about, on what Chris and Galen said. But we've talked about the good reputation that comes with working with the government, and I think in the future that can be leveraged if, say, Plurilock wants to release some sort of product for the regular consumer. That could be a way out. But obviously, government contracts builds that rep, and that's, I think, maybe a future catalyst down the road. Galen mentioned cybersecurity. Type in cybersecurity in Google today, and you're seeing talks of Russian cybersecurity attack or cyber terror attack on Ukraine and Poland and a whole bunch of other countries, not companies, maybe companies as well, but a whole bunch of
too.
a whole bunch of countries there. Poland and I think some of the Baltic states out there are all bringing up their cybersecurity terror threat level. So it's something that is going to be, I think, a big sort of sector here in the future. And, this is just me, but maybe what it might take to garner more interest in cybersecurity might be cybersecurity attack on the financial markets. I think that might get people to say, hey, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but maybe that's what it might take to get more money into that rather than, looking at, I guess, Tesla and cryptocurrencies and that kind of stuff. But this is a real sector with future implications, and I think it's going to attract a lot of money on the government side and obviously from the investor side. Let's take a look at the chart here of Plurilock, and it started off really well, actually. The year ended off quite nicely with a big breakout here on the Agora news. But essentially, we had this long downtrend here. We began to base here in the month of December, basically ranging here from 37 cents up to 40 cents. And I like ranges, especially when they occur after a downtrend and they occur at an area that has been, a price floor or support in the past, which this level has been, going back. If I extend my black line here, I just drew this blue line here to indicate that breakout. On the 30th of December, and then the following day on the Agora news, we had the confirmation breakout with quite a lot of volume, actually. It was 300,000 plus shares traded, which is above average for Plurilock, and that got the stock with the breakout confirmation. And then we had the follow through taking us up, to 50 cents. So let me just get my little ruler here. And that was a nice 24% move in 2 days of trading there, up to 50 cents. And then, as you can see from there, we've sort of drifted downwards. And I don't think this has anything to do with the company itself. I just think this is the stock markets in general. These past few days here have been quite crazy, quite volatile. And just today on Wall Street, we had some more, red closes here. And generally, in the past 2 years, we haven't really seen a downtrend like this in the broader stock market. So I think keep that in mind with what's happening here, because I think some of these small caps here and a few, large caps as well are getting hit, right? And we might just have to be a bit patient. But obviously, as Chris mentioned, this is a long-term play. So I think any weakness here presents good opportunities to buy. Unfortunately, here on the retest, we did not hold that 40-cent zone. So it does look like we're probably going to test the bottom limit of our support here at around 37 cents once again. And if that breaks, possibly 31 cents here, I think there's a support level there. So again, it's not necessarily anything to do with the company. I just think what's happening in the overall market space is impacting the stock price here.
All right. So that's where we sit. We're going long range. Obviously, as Chris pointed out earlier, it's not a trade. So how much, if any, at the moment, Mr. Galen?
Okay, well, long term, absolutely. Company's still not making money. It's not losing a lot either. It's actually gaining revenue of about $14 million, I believe, $15 million. There we go. But it costs them a lot, of course, because they're setting up networks, sales networks, and all that kind of lovely stuff, doing more R&D as well, and growing the company. So what you're going to see over the next while, we're going to see a bunch more, sales contracts go out. We're going to see a bunch more growth announcements, acquisitions put into place, but we're not going to see a positive bottom line for probably a while. However, where it is right now, I think is pretty fucking close to a basement price for this company. Okay. So I would be very comfortable in putting in probably about $5,000. Well, look at me go. I thought it was going to go lower in my head, but no, I just said 5. So I'm going to drop $5,000 on this company. I want to see how things play out, but it's not because of the company. Right now, tech is taking a shit. Yep. It's not doing well at all. And mostly because Silicon Valley has grown up on big promises and gold lame pants and stupid fucking NFTs. So as soon as that shit washes out of the system, we'll start to see performers coming out of this sector, and things generally will start to probably see a northerly trend. This company, however, I'm all behind. Fuck it. I love them.
5K. So you're trying to say that your brain sometimes and your mouth aren't operating in the same...
That's more times than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, exactly. I have the same problem. Chris, how much do-si-do?
All in.
Woo!
This is the low for mine. Look, what I'm looking for is one news catalyst out of this company, and that is the day that they announce that someone has decided to buy them. At a $24 million market cap currently, I think the technology is worth way more than that. The revenue is probably about right in terms of the valuation. They're very close to break even, and I think 1 or 2 deals gets them there. I honestly think this is just a revenue climber over the next few years. But when Putin decides he wants to go and have a piece of the Ukraine, and suddenly military spending starts boosting up, I imagine that this is going to take a real ride. So either we go to war and this thing goes up, or they get a buyout and it goes up. I really don't foresee it getting much cheaper than it is here. Now's your day.
Yep. Definitely just a quick.
I don't say that very often. I'm normally like a buy the ditch kind of guy. This is the ditch.
Yeah, I want to quickly interject that cyber warfare is the next battlefield. These guys are a prime contender to deal with that.
I was going to say, for the long term, even if there's not soldiers or missiles firing at each other, cyber warfare is likely the next. Is there a Call of Duty game named Cyber Warfare? Maybe there is by now. But there probably is, right? So government will be spending a lot of money. So I think this is definitely a sector, to put on your radar there, because I don't think too many people are actually that interested in this sector as of now, because there's so much other stuff out there, with the EV, green, and cryptocurrencies, tech, all that kind of stuff, space, I guess. I'm going to be putting 5K as well here, Rob, and this is a long-term hold. As I said, it might be a financial cyber terror attack, which might get the markets and investors looking into cybersecurity, but I think it's a space as an investor that you want to be in the long term. And I think Plurilock here with these government deals, very attractive price area here and market cap is definitely a good pick. And it feels good, I guess, to buy Canadian as well. So there we go, 5K.
Pretty good. I have the full kitty. My full kitty is 22,500. So it's 7,500 times 3. And this would be in the higher echelon of investments from the group, as we're spending 17,500 of that money. Pretty good. It is PLUR on the TSX Venture Exchange with Ian L. Patterson as the CEO. And you can listen to him and read about him on our site, Equity.Guru, as you bounce around outside of this investor roundtable. We can't guarantee anything, of course. Past performance does not guarantee future results, nor what we tell you. So do your own homework. Do your own homework, that is, please. Do some research, look into it, and check out PLUR Plurilock. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the very next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.